let's talk about the Nextcloud ecosystem. Of course, many organizations are not rolling out new applications in isolation. It has to fit an existing IT landscape that has been developed over years and contains all kinds of processes and other application and infrastructure components. Now think about identity management, document management, specialized applications for your sector. They all need to work together. And Nextcloud is designed as a platform exactly for this kind of environment. It's designed to be extended, integrated and adapted rather than forcing you to adapt to Nextcloud. Now for developers, this means we need to offer stable APIs, a clean app framework and predictable interface. And that's of course exactly what Nextcloud does. So custom integrations can connect to Nextcloud, connecting them to existing systems, automate processes, or add domain-specific functionality. And everything has been built in a high-performance, natively integrated way. So you can build apps for Nextcloud, adding to the hundreds of existing apps and integrations in the App Store, or of course build external apps and talk to the Nextcloud APIs to be integrated in our ecosystem. And for this, at your service is the Open Collaboration Services API. It's a fully documented API using the Open API standard. We provide a long stability window, so apps will keep working as Nextcloud evolves, and external APIs will keep allowing your applications to communicate with Nextcloud as the platform evolves. Now, exploring the API is super simple with the OCS viewer. You can look for a function you want to execute, you can test it out, and you can then grab the code to implement it in your app. Easy as pie. With Nextcloud Hub 26 Winter, we've updated some of our APIs. On the front end, the Files API package is using an expanded context object with the current folder and file list, and action handlers are using destructured parameters instead of positional arguments. We've also replaced the legacy OCA.files interface. Now, I don't understand what any of that means, but the developers have really promised me that I'm not talking nonsense here and making everybody laugh at me. So let's continue and you judge how it goes. Now the sidebar comes with a new web component-based API from Nextcloud Files, and the profile app has been migrated to Vue 3 with a new framework-agnostic API using custom web components. So external apps can actually still use Vue 2-based sections if needed in the sidebar. On the backend, we worked on the new mount point API and Snowflake ID support, as I already mentioned earlier when I was introducing the ADA engine. These are changes that make Nextcloud more scalable and more performance, especially given the integrated nature of the platform that we are building. Now, this also means we've updated APIs related to the database, so our applications can take advantage of all the improvements that the ADA engine brings. To keep your applications compatible with the new versions of Nextcloud, please read the updates in our documentation. We've put a QR code on screen so you can use that to find the documentation or go to nextcloud.com/developer. Now, there you can then check all the mistakes I've made because again, this level of technical detail is well beyond my understanding. Now, speaking of APIs, one last thing. For this release, we added Open Metrics endpoint. So that makes it possible for applications in Nextcloud to expose information that can then be collected via the endpoint, for example, by monitoring tools like Prometheus, and then be displayed in a tool like Grafana. Now I want to look at a couple of examples of popular applications that were developed by the community and that are available for Nextcloud. So a lot of organizations are using Nextcloud internally, and of course they have an internal support system for their employees. Now, an app for comprehensive integration of the ITOP ticketing system allows you now to seamlessly connect to the Nextcloud collaboration platform, so the ITOP IT service management system can expose information there. So that brings that functionality directly in the daily workflow of your users. They can add tickets, they can even search for them in the unified search. You can even address tickets with the smart picker, so you can insert a link to a ticket very easily, for example, in Nextcloud Talk or in the deck card. So you can track work on the ticket. It's really integrated in Nextcloud this way. And I think that will really help organizations that use that ticketing system. By the way, we already have a similar integration with Zamat, which is another ticketing system. And of course, well, if you want another ticketing system to be integrated, you can either look at this code or work with us to get a similar level of integration. Now, another app I want to highlight is the Attendance app. So this allows you to track attendance for events in Nextcloud using features like real-time event check-in reminders and even a nice dashboard widget to stay on top of the upcoming events and how well they are doing. We're happy to see that our community is so active. They're contributing to existing applications or uploading really cool new apps to our App Store. And of course, as always, you are also invited to contribute. For example, we already mentioned the declarative UI in the desktop app as well as the mobile apps. To enable these new dynamic actions on files, you can build a server app that adds another action on a file. For example, we now have a transcription of an audio file to text. Maybe you can create a text-to-speech app that allows a user on the mobile phone or on the desktop to turn a document into an audio file. So we really want to call on our community to enable these kind of actions for other apps so that people who use Nextcloud Hub have even more options at their disposal. So please go read our API on how to work with these capabilities and make something awesome. Now, there is another class of integrations. I already talked about it, external applications that can talk to Nextcloud. And that helps integrating in your existing environment. For example, Microsoft integrations are a good example here. And we have an add-on by Sendent, so you can securely share large files directly in Outlook while you keep the data on your Nextcloud server. And you can also use it to invite people very easily from Outlook to a talk meeting, for example, so they can join the talk meeting via the browser. The room is created, everything is set up. Now, Sendent is extending these capabilities also to Mac users. So they have developed Sendent for Apple Mail on the desktop that also offers this secure large file transfer, configurable expiration dates, passwords, as well as the talk integration. And it can now be downloaded for free in the Apple App Store. So if you want to get started, either building new integrations like this or using existing integrations, right? You can find all these apps on apps.nextcloud.com. You can also download an app there to get started with that as a developer, to build on it, add more improvements, or turn it into a new app for yourself. Go to our developer page, scan the QR code, and get started. Make a difference to the Nextcloud platform.